Well, this week we're still cracking away on Dave's tonner. We're going to see if we can get all this wiring sorted out and see how we go. Good morning guys, we're here at the Holden Bottom Wharf. Welcome back to Cars and Things Restos. Alrighty, back into the wiring. I'm just starting to terminate a few things. I've just ran. We're going to come out of there. We've got to get a grommet. Come down in there. We've got a P-clip there. We're going to run it. I'll probably put another P-clip over there. It's all ran down to the starter motor. I've got it all hooked up at the starter motor there. And I've ran the wires through under here, through the engine mount and down through to the alternator. They've run. I've run the coolant temp wire, it's run, and I've also hooked up the coil wire and the tacho wire there. So all I've done, I haven't terminated them guys, because I've got to before you guys go, oh, you shouldn't terminate it until you're finished. Well, I haven't terminated. All I've done is just tape the terminals on for the minute, just so we could, so I can get them into the right spot, and then I'll get the length right, which is what I was trying to do, get all of the length right, and then when I go through it, I'll pull the whole harness back out, and we'll put some conduit on them and heat shrink, and then they'll all be finished and completed, but that's later on. So that's where we are with that. I didn't think I showed you in the last episode that we mounted our fuse box up, so that's all done. Alright, we'll keep knocking away. I suppose what I have done, I might tell everybody what I've done so far. There's this wire here is for the electric choke, which will be 12 volt power wire for electric choke. So we don't have an electric choke on it, so what I'm going to do with that wire, I'm going to reroute that, and I'm going to run it with the rear harness, because what will happen is when I turn the key to on, this will get 12 volts. So I'm going to run that right to the back here to a relay box, which will be our trigger wire to trigger our relays to start the fuel pump and the oil cooler. So just going to reutilise that. That one there is for aircon. I won't be needing that one. I can utilise a wire, but I won't be needing that. So there's something else that I'm going to do as well. So pretty happy with this harness. It's all right. It's not too difficult. Pretty straightforward. Now we're just got to keep knocking it out, get the front done so we can get all these wires sorted. Alright, keep knocking it out. So I've pulled the old wiring harness out. I've got my wiring diagram there. I was just checking out the power wires, which that goes to the ignition switch. So I've just unclipped all those wires, or depronged all those wires out of the old harness, because I want to. So I've stuck the steering column in there, and what I want to do is just let me drop this column. Okay, so there's our ignition switch in there, and I took the plug off the wiring harness, and that's it there. So that plugs on to that, like that. So now what I need to do is, I've got all these ignition wires here, so I need to work out the length I want them, and then I need to cut them off and terminate them, plug them into that, and we should have an ignition switch. But before I do that, I need to work out which is that's my accessory wire, which I'm pretty sure is that bottom one, but I did take a photo of it. but it had 2 power wires on the other switch with pink wires, so 2 outs. This pink wire on this one is for the ignition coil. It had one there, and it also had one going to the fuse box as well. This one I don't believe needs it. I think this power wire here goes to the fuse box and powers the fuse box up. So I only need that one. That one there, well, that'll be power coming from the fuse box, I would say, to the ignition. That one there is our starter wire, the purple one. This is an orange one here that is the one that goes back to the fuse box. Yep, power to the fuse box. And I think that's when you switch the vehicle to on. So this red one here is power direct 12 volts from the battery. That one there is when we turn the ignition to on, that powers all the fuse box up for our on, and the brown one here, that powers up all our accessories. So pretty straightforward. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. It's only wiring, it's not that difficult. So I'll get all these terminated, but what I need to probably do is I probably need to take this ignition switch out, which I don't have a key, so I'll see what I can do. Take that out, that way I can move my ignition switch up and down and work out which one's the accessory and power, which I virtually know because I've got the wiring diagram there, but I want to be 100% sure. Just grab my multimeter and make sure it's right. Alright, keep knocking it down. So I've got the ignition switch out, as you can see. There's the old one there. Got a new one of them somewhere. So all we need to do now is to make sure our ignition switch moves. Yep, all that's all good. Alrighty, now I can put my multimeter on and see which wires what. There are my ignition wires. They're all going to reach there, no worries. So I've just bared the ends of them, and in the kit comes, wherever it is, that's the original block. What do I do with it? Put it out here, did I? Oh, here it is here. So in the kit it comes with terminals. These ones here, which are the same terminals that were on the original harness, I'm pretty sure. So if we look at them, actually they look about right. Yep, they'll be right. So I'll put all these onto the harness there, onto the new harness, and push them into that block, and that'll be our ignition sorted. Show you in a sec. Here we go, all terminated. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've got these crimping tools. I got them from Haltech when I was doing the Haltech on Mako. They were expensive, but you know what, I've used them quite a few times now, and they make the job so easy. Have a look at those crimps, absolutely beautiful. Make life so easy. Alright, so now I can plug those into my block, wherever it is. I might run some conduit over them first. Yeah, I'll put some conduit over them because they've got to run up under here and through here, and I don't want them rubbing, so I'll put some of them on it, tape it all back to about there. These wires have got to go up to my the wiper switch, which is there, which I'm thinking I might do away with that connector block and put oh shit, no, I might not. I think what I might do is I might cut that off the harness and use that. I don't know what I'll do. He probably actually needs a new switch because it's a bit fucking grotty. I'll have a talk to Dave because that's shit. What I could do is unplug that, because I've got to run. This is for our wiper switch, which this harness only has one wiper motor, one power wire for the wiper motor, where this one has the 3 and the washer as well. So I've got to run separate wires. So what I might do, because the wiper motor's got 4 wires on it plus a wire for the washer motor, which is all to this. This harness only has 1 wire for the wiper motor, so I think it's just a power wire, and it just makes the wipers go 1 speed. So what I might do, I think, is I'll run separate wires to it. I'll do it up under the dash and bring it in through the top. I'll show you that at a later date. But what I might do is I might get a Deutsch connector and hook into here and use a Deutsch connector or a couple of Deutsch connectors instead of that. But I might get him to get me a new one of them first. All right, keep playing away. There we go. Bit of shielding on it, and we've got it all wired in. We'll plug her on. Alright, it was a bit tight to get on because they're brand new terminals. Alright, so that's on. And now I should be able to, I believe, no, I'm not going to be able to. Only thing I can do is just a continuity check, which I've already done all that. So I know what I can do. Actually, yes I can. Because at the minute, it should be in the off position. Let's just make sure. Yep, so at the minute I should have no continuity from power, which is these top ones. Well, I shouldn't, and I do. Oh, sorry. I will have full continuity to those because they are going to work with power. So I should turn it on now. That should be off there. So that's all power coming in and going to, yeah, well, they're going to work, you dickhead. Because that's all coming off the power wire. I'm an idiot. That's not going to work like that. What I need to do is hook it into the feed wires. I really can't do it. All I can do is a continuity test. Until I hook a battery up and find power, I really can't do jack shit. I only can do a continuity check between the wires to here. So there's no point me doing that. Alright, so that is the ignition switch. That's all hooked up. Should all be good. Anyway, that bit's done. Now on to the next bit, which may be, I've got to start looking into hooking up our, well, I can't do that because I've got to wait for a new, but I could probably terminate it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I could probably hook the dash up. No, I can't do that because I'm still waiting for my oil pressure switch. Anyway, it's starting to come along anyway. We're slowly getting there. I might run the wires to the rear. There's a fair bit to do still. Anyway, yeah. I've just hooked our positive up, run it down, goes under the engine. I've got a bit of heat, Raceworks heat shield on there. I need to mount that with a P-clip. I've got one just mounted there. Hold her off there, so it runs through there, across the top of the chassis, down here. Then I've got it running down here. I've got my earth here. I've got a nutsert into, it was an existing hole in the chassis, so I put a nutsert in it, bolted the earth onto there, goes around to there. If I grab my multimeter, alrighty, so got my multimeter. Well, this broke the friggin' end off it, never mind. I have to fix it up. So I've got it into the earth. Oh, Jesus Christ. Got it into the earth, so we're just going to check earth continuity. So that should be fine, to the bolt should be fine. And I've got an earth wire going here to the gearbox. Yes, so I should need to show you. Bloody sun. It's a bit hard to see. Alright, so I've got my earth cable going from a big earth from the chassis rail, the gearbox mount to the gearbox rail. That's earth, and all the gearbox is earth, engine's all earthed. So, and we have our positive. So, earth it through the chassis rail, so all the whole chassis earthed, and then earth through the engine and gearbox. What I will probably have to do is run another earth, which I will probably do it up here. It's what I did on Brothers. I'll go off of somewhere up here into the body. I'll get a fairly thick wire, and I'll go from there to the chassis as well to earth the body to the chassis, and that allow me to, anytime I put an earth up in the dash or anything like that, I can earth it straight to the dash, and I'll know that it's earthed to the chassis as well. All right, there we are. There's our body earth. Runs up to there. It's a 5mm wire just onto the chassis, just there, and that'll give our body earth. All right, slowly getting there. Now I could probably nearly pull the harness out and start covering up. Anyway, I would like to show Dave first what we've done. We've got to get a battery box. I'm thinking of seeing if he'll wants to put an Optima battery in it. We might be able to place the bracket up against here, and then the battery will bolt on that way, and see what he says. Might do it that way. So there we go. I would need to tell you guys, under that screw, what I did, I made sure I scratched all the paint off, so I had a good connection there, which is bare metal. So what you also can do is you can get this dielectric grease. This came in the pack, but you can buy dielectric grease from anywhere, Burson's or Repco, or super cheap. And you just put that on it. It's just a dielectric grease that will stop it from corroding under that bolt, and gives it good contact. Good stuff, this shit. Rightio, there we go. That's our headlight switch. It was really quite easy, actually, very easy. So I actually opened the book, and it had in there headlight switch, and I went into it and had a look at it, and then it has all their early style, which is not ours. Ours was this one here. So it was really easy to do. So all I had to do was find those wires, cut them to length, and then terminate them. And that's what I've done. Put it up under there, all terminated, easy as that. Pretty happy. Alrighty guys. So we're at the indicator stage. So this is the old harness. That's the indicator connector, which normally would connect into there. And because this is a WB harness, it only has the 5 wires. When I go to, I've only got HX, HZ wiring diagram, which doesn't, I can still read it. It's just got a few extra wires. So from what I can tell with the WB, it only has one circuit. So your purple wire there is the feed wire from the flasher can, and then you've got a brown wire, which is the hazard wires. You've got a blue wire, which is the right front, and the light blue is the left. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The blue wire is right side, and the light blue wire is left side, and the black wire is the horn. On the HZ one, it's got individual wires. That's it there. It's got left front and left rear, right front and right rear. So because we can only we've only got the 5 wires. What I've had to do is, I'll show you, I can't hook up individual left front, right front, or the left rear, right rear. So what I have done is, so here's my little diagram. There's the diagram in the book, and that's how they like you to hook it up. So left front turn signal, right front turn signal on a separate circuit. I can't do that because that's how it's only got a single circuit. So what I've done is I've joined the wires together. So I have left on one connector, right on the other connector, and the black wire in the middle there, that's our horn wire, and it runs up to our indicator block here with our hazard switch in it, and that part of it's done. That'll tuck up nicely under there like that, nice and sweet, and that side's done. Right, and the hard side's going to be my indicator stalk. I think that's going to be the hardest thing I'm going to have to do here, but I'll get around it. I'll work it out, as we always do. So I'll just put that there. Just put that there. Anyone needs anything for your 8 series, contact Scotty. There you go. It's happening slowly. All right, we'll keep buttoning this up and see where I get. So I've just hooked up brake wires to the brake light switch. So now I'm going to just check to see if that's my brake power wire at the back. So let's hook up, see if we've got continuity there. Okay, so that's going, I've got the right wire, so brake light switch on. Do this and push the brake pedal at the same time. Nothing's happening. What's going on here? Brake light switch working. Sometimes they give you, there we go. There we go. So that's the brake wires hooked up. It's always good to go through your wiring after you've done it, especially with like connectors and that, like this, to make sure that you've got continuity through them. Keep smacking. Yeah, guys. So I've been playing with the wiper motor. I went and powered it up and did nothing but just sparked. So I thought I'd pull it apart and have a look, and what I found is it's had water in it. It's all corroded. All the bushes, they are the bushings that go on the end of the shafts. This one here was corroded onto the shaft, as you can see, and it's not allowing it to turn. So they feel okay, they're not worn out, they're just still seized up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to polish all these shafts, put these bushes back in, grease it all up, put the brushes back in, slip it back together, and I'll see if it make it work. It's pretty common with these things to shit themselves like this, but we'll see how I go. The rest of it looks alright. It does have a big crack through the through one of the magnets, so I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I'll put it back together and see if I can make it work. Alrighty. So I've just banged all that back together, unseized it all I showed you all the bushes to see, so I cleaned all them up, just got a bit of emery tape on the bush areas where they spin, cleaned them up, cleaned up the where the brushes run, It was a bit of a bitch trying to get it all back together with them brushes, but anyway, I got it to work. Let's try it, I suppose. Before, when I did this, all it did was just sparked. Wouldn't do anything. So let's get some power to it, which is yellow. Oh shit. Hang on, I've got to try and do this and hold the camera at the same time. Righto. Right, so what we need to do now is earth out these wires. I'm not sure which one's which. And see if it works. Because before when I did this, it just sparked and did do nothing. A bit like that. Let's go. So I've got nothing there at the minute. Oh, yep, that's right. Yellow's power. That's negative. What's going on here? Not even getting a spark now. Oh, there we go. Oh, look out. She works. Beautiful. It's only got one. It's only got one working. One speed. I know. That looks like slow. That's fast. Alright. There you go, that'll do. That's all we want, fast and slow. I'm not too worried about intermittent. What we need to hope that it comes back in parks, but we won't know that until I get it on the car. Alrighty, I'm going to reuse this plug. I'll put new wires in it. And I've got to make a harness for it now because we have, as I said, one park wire, which will be one wiper wire, which is a positive, which will go to where that yellow and black wire is. So it goes into that, and then what I'm pretty sure the wiper motor, also the wiper stalk, it actually just earths the rest of it out. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'll make a harness up and we'll see what it looks like. Rightio. Got a bit of a mud map here of my own wiring. Just telling me what is what with the turn signal, what colour wires and what they do, and the wiper stalk as well. So what I did is I just got the ohm meters and went through each of the wires until I got continuity, worked out what wire goes where. I think I must check. I don't believe that this harness has got a washer motor wire. I might have to run one. So what I've done is I've made my own little harness here for the wiper motor. That's it. Oh, all these fucking wires. So that's my wiper harness there. So low, I've got low and high speed for the wiper. That's all we're going to have. That's all we need. Oh, and it also, so you got low and high, but you also got the intermittent one where you turn it, you just turn it back and it'll turn it on low just for a second. So I went through and got all these wires. I've made up my own harness and then I've written them down what colour they are. So low is orange, dwell is white, fast is pink, and the power is blue. I'm not going to use the white because haven't got dwell, so I'm not too worried about that. Then I've gone into this for the so that's the washer wire on this here, or should I say on this part right here. So I've hooked in me wipers into there. That one there is for washers, the dark blue one, and that's the earth. I've got to hook up an earth. Okay, and then we go through our next one, which is light blue. Now the light blue one is, where is it? Oh, the light blue one is power for the headlights, for low and high beam, so that's power in. The orange is power in only for high beam flash, so when you flash someone when the cops are about and you want to flash them, that's that one. And then tan is low beam, and green, light green, is high beam. So all I need to do is go over to the harness now, and I just got to run my blue wire into that blue wire there. I'll make another power wire coming off of the fuse box to go into the flash one, and then we just run out of the tan and the orange, tan and green, which both are tan and green on this one, are tan and green in the harness as well, so it's pretty easy. I'll just connect them straight in, and we should have high and low beam and flash, and we should have wiper 1, 2 and 2 speed. We'll see how we go. All right, keep knocking it out. Back this morning, playing with some more wiring, as you do. So this morning what I'm going to do, we've got this relay block here. Now this is going to power up our fuel pump. Here it is here. We're going to power up our fuel pump and our transcooler fan. So not sure whether I'm going to do no, I don't have to do a engine fan because we've got a Craig Davis relay temperature relay sensor to run on that, on the cooling fan. So this morning I'm going to wire in a couple of these relays to run the fuel pump and the cooler, oil cooler, transcooler. Alright, we'll just get stuck into it. Go. There is a fuse box all wired up, or relay box, fuse and relay box all wired up, and it only took me, as you saw, 2 minutes. Not bad, eh? Okay guys, there you go. One relay box wired up. We might chuck a 30 amp in the fuel pump. And a 25 amp, that's a 20 amp, 25 amp in the The other one. Righto, I probably might go through this with you. So as you saw, geez, I need to heat treat these. So as you saw, what I've done is I've put my terminals in, and that one looks like it's pushing out. Where's my screwdriver? Oh no, it's just... No, it's okay. So what I've done here is I put my power wire, which is going to come directly from the battery, to the outside row of terminals, which is connected right through, and then I have stuffed up. Have I stuffed up? Yes, I have stuffed up. See these terminals here? They have to be separated. I've got to cut them because they won't be individualised, but that's easy enough. So I just got to cut that little through that terminal there. So I'll pull that back out, I'll cut that. That'll individualise the fuses, and then they're going into terminal 30 on the relay. Then I have my earth, which I'm just going to earth straight to the body when I bolt it onto the chassis. Then I've got the two orange wires here are my power wires coming out of 80, not 86, coming out of 87, which will go to the fuel pump, and one to the fan, which will give us direct 12 volts from the battery because they are in sync. And then I have the brown wires, which are our feed wires, which is going to come from that choke wire that I'm running from the front. I'm going to hook that into those two wires, which will turn the relay on and connect the power through. So as easy as that. So all I've got to do now is cut that there to separate the fuses, and we are good to go. Okay, fixed. So what I've done is I separated those fuses. So now if you can see down in there, they've only got the two wires separating, which means that we've only got power going through the one side. Before I had it all down the other side, so it wouldn't have really mattered which fuse went. It still would have, if it only blew one fuse, it still would have powered through the other fuse. So that was incorrect. All right, so there's our fuse and relay box that's going on the rear of the car for the fuel pump and the cooler fan. So now what I do is I've got to make up another patch harness that goes on here, which will go to the pump and the relay and to the battery and to the trigger wire. All right, we'll get into that. Here we go. She's all fitted up. So all we've got to do now is P-clip all the wiring harness up. I've still got to hook that trigger wire into the block, which I don't want to do it yet because I want to pull that harness back out and wrap it all. So I put the zip tie where that's got to come out of the loom across to there. So I'll heat shrink all this on when I'm putting it all together. So here's our power wire going over to our battery, and our wire to the goes to the fuel pump. Got the earth up there, and then I'm running the other wire. It's going to run along here. Over here I'm going to put a P-clip just there, and the wire harness there, and earth out there. So that is done. All nice and pretty. Sitting in there. I'll put a couple of extra fuses in there just in case we have a drama when we're on the road. At some of that, hopefully, David. Let's see how we go. We tried to enter, we couldn't get in on the second go, so we'll have to wait till the third go comes around. Alright, now, next is I've got to wire up the dash. Dave's got me a new wiper switch. He's bringing that around soon, and that's easy. Just plug that in, make sure I've got the length right, and I've got to hook up the, as I said, the instrument cluster. They're the wires for the instrument cluster, and the other wires running down here are reverse light switch, inhibitor switch, and the two red ones are for the radio, which we're going to put that new, we're going to put the big screen Toto in it there at some stage. We'll get this out and put that big screen in there and see what it looks like. Alright, getting there. Okay, so once I've got that done, harness has got to come out, put it on the bench, and it's all got to be wrapped and put in nice and neat. Oh, that's what I've got to do. I've got to hook up a handbrake light switch too, because I don't think it comes with a handbrake light switch. So I'll hook up one of those, which will be just a power wire going to the light, and this will be just a negative wire going back to the light, so that just earths out the light. So I just need power, which I'll get the power source from here up to the dash, and I'm just going to run a negative wire with this loom back up to the light. When we turn the handbrake on, it'll turn the handbrake light on. Easy as that. Alright, we'll keep knocking it out. Certainly getting there. Everything's buttoning up. The only thing I can't really do is the front harness yet, but I'll do that when I put all the front back on. I've got to get a grommet from there. So we'll probably get this harness out now. Now it's all complete. We'll get it out and we'll get it on the bench so I can wrap it all, make it look nice and neat. But you'll see that on the next episode of Cars and Things Restos. Okay. Dash instrument cluster is complete. We've got our little dwell switch there for the dimmer lights, the dash lights. What I've done is I've put a Deutsch connector on here on the harness and hooked it in there. That's our tacho wire running up to the tacho. Just got to plug the sensor wires in, fuel, oil pressure and oil temp, but they're running from the car. There's one of them just there, which I'll run back in along with the harness into the dash, into the instrument. So that's easy. So here's our connector block. These three wires here are your original wires in the harness for the gauges, which I won't need. I will need that fuel wire, so I'll have to put a connector on to that. That'll come from the fuel gauge itself, which will run across the back into that, then down this harness here. That's easy, all happening, and we've got, that's easy. So all that's done. So virtually all the wiring's done now. Except we haven't done to the front, and we've got all the wires down there to the back to run to the back. We're thinking about running them in through the chassis, but I'll cover them all up first and make them nice and neat with some conduit on it. So we've got our Dave's here. Hey mate. Yeah. Dave just bought me a new wiper switch. New beauty. So that means now I can finish wiring up our wiper switch, and the harness is complete, apart from pulling it out and putting some shit around it, make it look pretty, eh?
Yep, tidy it up.
Well, that'll do, I reckon, for today, this week. So now that's ready to come out. We'll pull that harness out next week. We're just waiting on some sheathing that's on its way in it.
Yeah, it should be here early next week.
So once that's here, I'll have it all on the bench, and I'll put all the sheathing on it, put the shrink wrap on it. We'll finish terminating all the terminals on it, and then we'll put it back in. We might be able to fire this girl up with a key next week, Dave.
Sounds good.
Hey, we'll give it a crack. Yeah. Well, that's what we'll be looking forward to. Rightio. Well, thanks for coming along and watching. If you haven't subscribed, please jump on and subscribe, hit the bell, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Just fire the old girl up, got to get it out and put my boy's car on the hoist. Hadn't been started for a while. Primed the pumps, kicked her in the guts, away she went. Still sounding pretty neat. Alright, we'll back it out. I'm going to do do a bit of work on the boys' car. But you'll see that on the next episode of Cars and Things Rest Days. Good on ya, Scotty.